Hey yogis, I'm Cynthia. I wanted to share a practice that is near and dear to my heart today. It is a practice focused on low back pain. So roll out your mat and come join me. So back pain is something that I think so many of us have experienced, whether it's chronic or it just comes on from normal activities. It could be lifting, or even the vacuuming that you might be doing could be caused from work, just really, we don't always know where it comes from, but we know that there's just this uncomfortable feeling in our body, and it makes day-to-day activities hard. So, of course, I would always encourage you to check with your medical provider to make sure yoga is a safe practice for you to be doing. But I believe that yoga is this beautiful mind-body connection. And I see it as a therapy that not only helps our physical body, but our emotional body as well. So rolling out your mat every day, whether it's for 10 minutes or for an hour, and doing some type of stretching, intentional poses, they will help relax the low back as well as strengthen it. So each pose that I've chosen is working the low back and then the muscles that surround it. So not so much a sequence today, not a flow, but more just intentional poses here. And then as always, these poses that we get into, if you experience any numbing, tingling, or pain associated with them, then you need to back out. That pose is not meant for your body at that given time. So we'll begin in child's pose. So bringing big toes together, and then separate the knees to whatever's comfortable for your body. If you need to create space between the toes, that's fine too. And then walking down the hands, and then allowing the upper body to relax to the mat. Ground through your forehead. And then begin to breathe into this space. Notice any tension that might be felt here. Finding that controlled breath. Inhaling through the nose. The exhale brings it out. With each breath, relax just a bit more, settling into the mat, sinking in. Be intentional here. Relax through those glutes. So don't squeeze, but just allow them to relax down. And then from here, let's inhale and come up to tabletop. So we put knees underneath hips and fingers underneath shoulders, wrists underneath the shoulders. And neutralize your spine. So to do this, pull in the belly button. So you want to strengthen through the core. So nice straight back from the crown of the head, the top of the head, all the way down to the tailbone. Then as you inhale, we come into cow. So tailbone lifts, upper chest is open here. And then exhale, begin to round the back. Nice and slow, tuck the tailbone. And then drop the crown of the head and gaze between the thighs. You can press into the palms to help separate shoulders from the spine. And then inhale, come to cow. And exhale, round to cat. Inhale to cow. And exhaling, rounding into cat. And then just taking a few more with your breath. From here, coming back to neutral spine. Curl the toes under as you prepare for down dog. So lift up through the knees and then press the tailbone high, shifting back onto the heels. If your heels don't meet the mat, they can be lifted here, and that's fine. Sometimes they'll never touch. But work to shift tailbone up. Crown the head. Just releasing. Spread through the fingertips. Press into the L's of the fingers. Ears are by the biceps. And see if you can release down just a bit more. Maybe you shift the tailbone higher. Take a nice deep breath here. Inhale. And exhale out. Look to the top of the mat and very slowly walk the feet up. Coming into ragdoll. So in ragdoll, we bend through the knees. Belly comes to the thighs. And then several different arm variations here. Hands can grab opposite elbows. Allow the crown of the head just to release here. Maybe you find movement, just gentle, slow movement side to side. Good. Release the hands to the mat. Just inhale to a halfway lift. Gaze off the tip of the nose. And then release hands down to the mat. Step back for down dog. Good. As you inhale, shift into high plank. You can drop to the knees right away if you'd like. And then slowly lower down one vertebrae at a time. So what we're coming into now is called back bends on our belly. They're actually a beautiful variation of poses to take to help strengthen the low back. So we'll start with Sphinx. In Sphinx, we bring elbows underneath the shoulders. So fingertip to elbow is planted. Then as you inhale, drop the shoulder blades down the spine and lift up the gaze here. If you note any compression on that low spine, you can separate and then take it a bit wide. The lower belly drops down just a bit more, but continue to stay open here. And try not to round into the shoulders. Don't scrunch them up. Stay open. We'll take one more breath here. Inhale. Into exhale. Go ahead and release down. Coming into crocodile. In crocodile, we turn the elbows out and then stack left hand and right hand. And then just drop the crown of the head, forehead. Find connection points here. Release the shoulders. Good. Let's inhale and come back to Sphinx. So your arm variation is the 11. Draw shoulder blades down. Breathe into the posture here. Then you can even adjust. Maybe you take the feet out a bit wider to the edges of the mat. Note how your body feels here. And then exhale, release down. Coming back to crocodile. So elbows turn out, hands draw in. Right hand on top of the left. Forehead to the palms. And then a full body release here. So allow everything to let go. Not squeezing, not holding, no tension. Good. Next we inhale, coming up to cobra. So in cobra, we bring hands underneath the shoulders. Draw the elbows back, and then just inhale, a slight press up here. And then exhale down, forehead to the mat. 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. Final one here. Inhale, lift. And just hold here for a full breath. And then the exhale releases to the mat. From here, curl the toes under, and then you can press back to tabletop. Let's come back to cats and cows. So inhale, open chest. Exhale, round. Inhale, open chest. Exhale, round. Find down dog. Toes curl under. And then let's step the left foot through. So finding low lunge. Good. Seal the right foot down. And then lift up to warrior 2. So from warrior 2, straighten through the left leg. Triangle pose. Specifically extended triangle is one of the best standing poses for the low back. It is working so many areas of the body. It's lengthening and strengthening major muscle groups. So inhale, lengthen forward. The right hip presses out. And as you exhale, begin to drop the left hand. Now left hand can connect around the left ankle. If you have the block, you can take hand to block. It helps to stay open. Or maybe you come to the tops of the fingers. Note how your back feels here. Breathe into the space that you've created. Then exhale it out. You can stay tall with open arms, or maybe you release the right hand overhead. So we're opening up side body here too. 2 more full breaths. Inhale and out. 1 more time. Inhale and exhale. Coming back to warrior 2. And we'll just turn the toes. So right toes face forward. Seal the left foot. Begin to straighten through that right leg. And it's always okay to keep a bend if needed. You don't want to lock the knee. Inhale, lengthen forward. You can always take hand to hip as well. Press the left hip out. On the exhale, begin to release down to your variation. And remembering each side may feel different. So a variation you took on the left, you might not be taking on the right. Good. Gaze can drop up, or you can reach left fingertips overhead. Take your drishti, which is your gaze point, off the left hand. And we're to roll open the shoulder. One more big breath here. And then we'll inhale back to warrior two. Releasing down to the mat. And then just stepping back, down dog. Let's drop to our knees here. And cross the ankles and come to your seat. So another great pose for low back is a twist. So to come into this twist variation, you are always welcome to stay cross-legged. That's a wonderful option. Otherwise, begin by extending the right leg out. Flex through the toes. Left foot crosses the right thigh. So the inside of the left foot is to the outside of the right thigh. And then bend through the right knee. So you take the right heel toward the left hip. Then as we inhale, reach the hands. And exhale, begin to twist. So maybe you stay high. Or if you can, right elbow to the outside of the left knee. And then press into the elbow to help rotate the twist. Your left hand can be at the back of the glute. So just a better way, I like to come to the pads of my fingers here when I'm twisting. Because what happens if I'm at my palm, I slump my shoulder, I slump into it. So I want to stay lifted here. We are in Lord of the Fishes. So begin to look off that left shoulder. Twisting is a great way to establish equilibrium in the spine. It helps to bring it back to balance. Good, one more breath. And to exhale, release out. So take a nice wide windshield wiper side to side. Good. This time we extend left leg out. Toes flex. Crossing right foot over left thigh. So the inside of the right foot is to the outside of the left thigh. And then I drop onto my left hip gently and take my left heel toward my right seat. Lift up through the hands. Then as you exhale, find the twist. So left elbow to outside of right thigh. I always notice with my twisting variations that one side is easier than the other. Sometimes we are just tighter or have more tension. You can look off the right shoulder. And coming back to center. Windshield wiper out. And then we make our way down to our backs. So lowering down nice and slow. And we'll come into bridge next. Bridge is also a wonderful pose to help strengthen. We work through the thighs, into the hips and low back. So to come into bridge, ankles are underneath the knees, feet underneath the knees, hip width distance apart. So when you're coming to any back bend, obviously on the back, keep neck in neutral position. And what this means is gaze straight up. When we turn side to side, we can compromise the neck. Flatten the elbows, but lift the fingertips. Now as we inhale, we're going to seal, press into the inner right, the inner areas of our feet, inner edges I was looking for. Because what happens is we want to externally rotate. So pressing to the inner edges of the feet help with the internal rotation, which is the alignment that you want to find in this variation. So go ahead, inhale, lift up through the hips. If it feels good, maybe you interlace behind the spine, rolling onto the shoulder blades. Allow chest to draw close into the chin. And once again, remember to press into the inner edges of those feet. Find breath here. Then as we release, take hands up to the sky, spread through the fingers, come down one vertebrae at a time. Okay. And then to counteract this pose, I'm going to take my feet to the outside edges of the mat, soles of the feet press, and then draw my knees in. Good. One more time here. So knees over feet, hip width distance apart. Elbows ground, fingertips lift. Inhale, press up through the hips. Chest draws close into the chin. Keep the gaze up. And as we exhale, fingertips up to the sky, release down one vertebrae at a time. And this time we find reclined butterflies. So soles of the feet together, knees apart. Take hand to belly, hand to heart here. In this variation, we also are opening the hips, but counteracting the back bend that we just took. And then for your next pose, it's considered a massage out for the vertebrae down the thoracic spine. So happy baby. Knees draw into the chest. And then take soles of the feet up to the sky. And then let's just pat down our thighs here. Good. And draw them into the chest. Your two-piece fingers can hook around the big toes. Otherwise, hands to inner, outer soles of the feet. And then draw the knees into the armpits. So you're pressing the spine down and connecting it to your mat. Then you can roll side to side. Then from here, draw knees into chest. Then exhale, soles of the feet to the mat. And finding reclined pigeon or your figure four on your back. Crossing right foot over the left thigh. And perhaps you stay here. If you want more of a deeper stretch, you can lift left foot. So heel in line with the knee. And then for adjustment into this stretch, your right hand can travel through the triangle that's been created, that space, and then left hand wraps around the back of the right thigh. Perhaps you connect here. And then you can begin to draw in. In this pose, you should feel the release. In this stretch, it's a deep stretch. Through the back of the right thigh. So lots of different muscles that need to be stretched and lengthened here to help protect our low back. And then from here, release the hands, bring them out to a T, and we find a twist. So staying in this variation, you can just drop over to the left. If this does not feel good for your body, you can just draw knee to knee. Then gaze off those right fingertips. come back to center. I uncross. So before I come back to center, I uncross my knees. Or I uncross from the variation. And then just roll a little bit side to side. If we come up from that variation into the figure 4, it may have too much pressure on that low back. So just see and note how you feel. Left foot crosses the right thigh. And then take it to your level. Sole of the foot could be planted. Or you can take left hand through the space that's been created and hug in that right thigh, back the right thigh. Now the stretch that occurs here is through the left side. Okay. So these twists that we take are resetting. And they help to relax out the low back. One more breath here. Then take hands out to a T. And if you're able to, leave the variation of the figure 4 and then just drop off to the right. You can gaze off the left fingers. One more breath here. And then to release from here, I stack my knees, my left knee to my right, and then draw knees into the chest. And preparing for Shavasana, sending the legs out long, and allow feet to sway to the sides. You can stay with open arms here. Maybe you draw them to the sides. Palms up. And just starting through a body scan of how we feel after this practice. So finding that comfortable position on your backs. That's the area that we worked through today. So send breath there. Inhale. Filling all the way up from the deepest part of the abdomen to the back of the throat. And then a nice long open mouth exhale out. Take note of your feet here. So your feet are what plants you to our Mother Earth. Scrunch the toes. And release them, spread them. Scrunch through the toes again, release them, spread them. Good. Maybe you roll out the ankles here a little bit. So taking clockwise circles with the toes and counterclockwise. Good. And then notice the knees. Maybe you shake them out just slightly. Send breath there. And continuing up, our pelvic region, the hips, the low back. Take a nice deep inhale and a nice long exhale out. Release any tension that's been felt there. Drawing up to the shoulders. Scrunch them up. And then exhale, release them. Let's do that again. Inhale, scrunch them up. And exhale, release them out. Squeeze the fingers. And then open them. Good, one more time. Squeeze those fingers, clench them, and then release them. And then finally, the jaw and the neck. Work to unclench the jaw. You can hold every last bit of tension in the jaw. If the tongue is at the roof of the mouth, drop it down. And then the crown of the head, the area of intuition. breath there. All the way to the top. And release it out. Good. Draw knees into the chest. And then we roll off to the left side. When we roll off to the left, we are sending more grounding through our body. Your hand can be a support for the head here. And just take a breath. And then pressing up to your seated easy pose. So we'll inhale, bringing hands to heart. And then exhale as we drop forehead to the fingertips. Inhale, lift the head. And exhale, forehead toward the fingertips. Good. Notice the stretching of the back of the neck here. Very gently, very slowly, inhale, lift the head. Then begin to drop it back. Lift up through the chin. So we open up the throat here. Then exhale, releasing forehead to fingertips. Good. And then we draw our thumb knuckles to our third eye, the forehead, area of intuition here. Then just close the eyes here, accepting your body for what it is and any limitations that it gives you. Knowing that when you roll out your mat and you incorporate intentional movement into your everyday life, that you are beginning your healing journey. Exhaling forward. Namaste. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed it.